Hey everybody, welcome back. We're continuing our reading of Purification of the Heart, Hamza Yusuf's commentary on Imam al-Mawalud's Matharat al-Qulub. We're on page 5 towards the middle paragraph. Dignity and honor are gifts. The Quran says about God, "You exalt whomever you will, and you debase whomever you will." 326. Proofs of this divine law abound. There are many accounts, for example, of people who were once in positions of authority and wealth, but now find themselves as paupers, completely stripped of their former glory, reduced, in many instances, towards the state. And you see also the opposite, right? God is powerful over all things, and all good, authority, and provision are in his hand, not ours. From this we derive an important principle. If one ignobly pursues an attribute, he or she will be donned with its opposite. God humbles and humiliates the haughty ones, those who arrogantly seek out rank and glory before the eyes of the people. It's hard because, humiliation rarely happens to many politicians who do seek glory and vanity. The cartel members in Mexico, they're rich beyond all belief, but you don't see their humiliation and their haughtiness or their arrogance. The next life, right? But we do see a couple pillars fall, but sadly, we see a lot of the opposite. The Quran gives the examples of Pharaoh and Korah and their abject fall in grace. Yeah, Pharaoh fell hard, man. Ramesses fell hard. Conversely, if one is humble before God, he will render him or her honorable. Imam Maulud goes on to explain that there is no salvation like the heart's salvation, given that all the limbs and organs respond to its desires. If one's heart is safe, so too are the limbs and organs, for they carry out the deeds inspired by the heart. Inspired by the heart. I don't know, man. I mean, our heart, I don't want to say chakra, because that's not a Quranic word, but that energy zone is really confluted with want versus need versus lust. It's very hard to see what heart's pure intentions are. I get it for my daughter if I want to protect her, or if I see there's her animal, I need to move it out of the road. Those will feel love. But it easily can get confused. The limbs and organs of the corrupt become instruments through which corruption is spread. Yeah, that I can agree with that. As the Quran states, "Today we shall set a seal upon their mouths, and their hands will speak to us, and their feet shall bear witness to what they have earned." Oh, Quran 36:65. That one blew my mind when I first read it. "And spend on the needy in the way of God, and do not throw yourselves into ruin by your own hands." Quran 2:195. "And we shall say, taste the chastisement of burning. That is for what your hands have forwarded. For yourselves. That is what your hands have forwarded." And God never wrongs his servants. Quran 3:181-82. "They shall have immense torment on the day when their tongues and their hands and their legs bear witness against them for what they had been doing." Quran 24:23-24. Oh, dang it, dropped my pencil. According to a hadith, the tongue is the interpreter of the heart. The tongue is the interpreter of the heart. Interesting. Interpreter of the heart. Hypocrisy is wretched because the hypocrite says with his tongue what is not in his heart. He wrongs his tongue and oppresses his heart. But if the heart is sound, the condition of the tongue will follow suit. We are commanded to be upright in our speech, which is a gauge of the heart's state. I don't know, man. I don't know about that. I mean, I've politicians give beautiful speeches that are written all day, yet they sign deals that ruin people's 401k plans. They declare war in states that don't really deserve it. I mean, Kim Jong Un, he speaks pretty plain, like, but look what he does to his own people. He just told his own people to hand in their dogs so they could be eaten because there's a famine. I mean, I've met, like, I don't know. Hamza say he grew up in the West. I don't know how he hasn't figured out how these business people got the corporate talk. I am so familiar with the corporate talk, I can see right through it. The best actors do the corporate talk where they're all happy and smiling, they got their Botox in their face, and they're just, I don't know, man. This is why there's so much stupidity in the world. That's why there's so much corruption. It's because people are so dumb they can't figure out that the tongue, even if it has beautiful words, can be just a weapon. The tongue, I don't know. I mean, you think so, but at the end of the day, if somebody is like a really sour fisherman, right? Salty fisherman, and he's like, get the hell off my boat, and he's a little grumpy, but if you fell in the water, he'd pick you up. But somebody maybe who works in a corporate office has like very fancy shoes and is just very like, hi, how are you? I hear you. I clarify you. I'll call you whatever your pronouns are. Oh my gosh, thank you for telling me. And that girl could like sleep with your husband. She could, be paid under the table cash to do a certain policy or to turn a blind eye to, money laundering or insider trading and such and such. I mean, today, that's how you get ahead in a lot of ways for these people. The brown nosers. That's what I think. According to a prophetic tradition, each morning when the limbs and organs awaken in the spiritual world, they shudder and say to the tongue, fear God concerning us, for if you are upright, then we are upright, and if you deviate, we deviate too. Engaging in the regular remembrance of God, the regular remembrance of God, DHIKR, safeguards the tongue and replaces idle talk with words and phrases that raise one in honor. Idle talk is what everything is in the workplace. It's pretty much worst kind of talk. I just hate it so much. The tongue is essential in developing courtesy with God, which is the whole point of existence. Courtesy with God being an essential component of existence. Okay, now there's the poem, verses 9 through 15. After firmly grasping this foundation, then mastering the heart's infirmities in the second stage, knowledge of the heart's ailments, what causes each of them and what removes them, is an obligation on everyone. This is the ruling of al-Ghazali. However, this does not apply to one who was already granted a sound heart. As scholars other than al-Ghazali opine, for al-Ghazali reckoned the heart's illness as inherent to humanity, others deem them predominant in man, not qualities necessarily inherent to his nature. But now that obliteration of these diseases until no trace remains is beyond the capacity of human beings. So the obliteration of those diseases with no trace is beyond human capacity. I mean, because the world, I think, gives you certain environments to where certain elements like that will trigger a mental capacity in that way. Do you know what I'm saying? So it makes sense that you can't always be pure, because if you financially try to survive, in some jobs it's just so much toxicity that it does rub off on you. Even if you're trying your best, it's really hard. And the group cohesion and the popularity within it will make you bow to it and make it even harder for you to exist. And then you'd have to really be fortified with being alone and loneliness in your workplace, because you'll be an outcast. Because so many people in the work environments, they are so in their own zone. It's interesting. Nonetheless, here I give you what you need to know of their definition, etiologies, and cures. The purification process. Purifying the heart is a process. First, one must understand the necessity of having courtesy with God and the importance of fulfilling its requirements, as noted above. Second, one must be aware of the diseases of the heart, aware of their existence, their ailments, and their deleterious complications and troubles that ensue from them, and recognize that these diseases prevent one from attaining this courtesy. Okay, so essentially, deleterious complications, diseases of the heart, fulfilling requirements, the ailments that are attached thereof, troubles that can come from it, the consequences essentially. Knowledge of the disease of the heart, their causes, and how to remove them is an obligation on every sane adult human being. Well, that's usually it's interesting in this part. He's like saying that's a duty of humans is to purify your heart, and then others say it's to seek truth, right? It's to seek wisdom. So it's interesting that this heart angle is coming into the fray.